The ghost of a melody woke him up. It was a noise he had forgotten. Music. And it was a song that was played so delicately, so forlornly, that it drew him from his room in the attic, down the stairs that whined under him. Max had faded away in this apartment long ago. He could hardly remember the last time he saw anyone, let alone spoke with anyone. The sunlight sliced through the off-white curtains that hung gently across the living room window. Max shielded his eyes and blinked. The silhouette of a long-haired girl moved within the rays as she spun golden magic on the keys.
You play beautifully.
The pianist looked at him, her brown eyes nearly gazing through him. She studied him, though her music did not stop. Max waited for her to speak, as was polite to do, but she only nodded and turned back to her piano. Max shuffled back and forth on his feet. He wanted to say something more, but at such a calculated reaction, he was unsure if he should interrupt. Though her song wrapped itself around him tenderly, and Max took a fragile step. He felt her song tug him forward with such a mournful force, and his heart led him to stand beside her at the piano. He watched the pianist's golden curls fall about her as she swayed in time with her disjointed song. Max felt the urge to dance, but any time he tried to move, she would change the tempo and flow. Her music was unexpected and strange, and some part of him was delighted by it.
Does the musician have a name?
The song softened as she listened to his question. Her eyelashes fluttered closed as she parted her lips.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
It was a beautiful name.
Yes?
Charlotte's song grew introspective as her ear focused on Max's voice. It was interesting to him how the way she played was simply an extension of her. Nothing more, nothing less.
Did someone teach you?
Charlotte's sun-kissed fingers flitted down to the deep tones. Max immediately regretted the question.
I'm sorry.
She did not look at him, but the song spun its way forward into soft brightness. Max felt an uneasy eagerness. He wanted to say so much, yet couldn't find even a single syllable to express it. Max simply felt, and felt deeply. Her music reached into his forgotten soul and made it remember what it was like to live, to yearn. Charlotte's tender notes lifted him in a way he hadn't experienced, and, like a child, he was desperate to unlock the secrets to her talents. Charlotte's bright curls fell across her eyes as her head dipped. She was truly falling into her music, and Max felt her becoming lost to him. Lost to herself, perhaps.
Your music sounds like you have a lot on your mind.
Who doesn't?
Max pondered.
I don't think I do anymore.
Charlotte gave a small smile.
That sounds lovely.
Max frowned.
It's not. It's empty.
Charlotte's fingers faltered a moment. Her song fell away for a brief eternity. Max watched her brown eyes flit delicately over the keys in front of her, entirely in her own mind. He felt as if he had invaded her spirit, and awkward as he was, he moved away to leave her be.
No,
He looked at her.
stay.
The song resumed, though this time much different than before. Her sun-kissed fingers danced with one another across the piano, creating a mournful waltz. Charlotte's eyes lingered closed as she let the music carry her very body. Max found her stunningly beautiful, playing like this. Her music simply hooked into his fated heart and brought it to light. It was terrifying, but he couldn't resist giving himself over to it.
The notes can heal the hurt that lies behind your eyes.
Max's gaze drifted up. She was wearing a peculiar expression, one full of love and grief that he could not read.
Pains you never speak of.
Charlotte's hands quickened.
Pains you hardly think of.
Her notes became softer.
All come rushing in to an odd sort of euphoria as soon as you touch a single key.
The waltz slowly spiraled into dark notes of confusion. The sun-kissed girl let her notes hang in the air with syncopated rhythms and clashing harmonies, as if she were trying to contradict her own words. While he didn't know her and what she must have gone through, her descriptionless agonies rang horrifically true in his own chest. Max had an overwhelming desire to pull her close and cry together, but instead, he simply sat next to her on the piano bench. Charlotte was entirely unbothered as she kept plucking away at that haphazard, awkward melody. Though, as he watched her play, he could sense her through that music, her essence, her entirety. Max was unsure if Charlotte meant to bare her soul so plainly to him, but he was so fascinated by her. He couldn't help but need to know more. The gentle presence of her broken arpeggios would haunt him forever if he let it lie.
I'll show you my world, if you show me yours.
Max winced at himself. The offer was so bold, so wanting. He felt Charlotte's hands slide under his. Her dark, velvety eyes held his gaze for the first time. And they didn't need to speak. They knew. Max and Charlotte played until the world was lost to them. And soon, the world lost them back. And Charlotte was playing alone again. Sooner still, her playing came to an end. She only stayed in his room in the attic, curled up on his bed, tucked into the blankets where his presence still lingered. And after a forever that was full of silence, a new sound came. Charlotte opened her eyes.
Music.
And it was a song that was played so delicately, so forlornly, that it drew her from the room in the attic, down the stairs that always wind, no matter how carefully she walked. At the piano, a young man sat, all aglow from the sunlight that streamed through the old white curtains. Charlotte approached cautiously, though her fingers danced in the air, following the pianist's movements, and she gave a mournful breath through a barely parted smile.
Excuse me.
The music faltered, but did not stop. He looked at her, his blue eyes nearly gazing through her.
You play beautifully.